Hey, babe. JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, Real Housewives of Potomac dropped last night. Okay, the girls got into a few things, but before we really get into that review and stuff, because y'all know I'm going to give it to Patreon first, okay? Then I'll come over here and give you guys the review. But what I want to talk about is Watch What Happens Live, because Monique Samuels was over on Watch What Happens Live with Andy. She hasn't been on there in so long, and she is there to talk about the show, amongst other things. And I have to say, in my personal, I thought Monique looked really cute. I'm really liking the longer dreads on her and the different type of unique styles that she's doing with her hair for some reason. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could be a dreads girl, and maybe I could, but I feel like they look cute on certain people, and I really like them on her. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I know some of y'all ready to cuss me out right now and for even giving a woman a compliment. But listen, she looked really nice. Like the dress. Looks good, okay? She talked about a few things, on this latest episode. She did have a sit down with Gizelle, and she and Andy touch on that. She does touch on any reconciliation that she may have with Candiace Dillard, and she also touches on things that may have happened in the past as far as her marriage, right? And we're not really going to get more into that part. It's more so Gizelle feeling as though Monique was not as authentic, right? When she was on the show previous season. So first thing I want us to do is go ahead and get into this sit down. I want us to just listen to what Mo and Andy talked about when it came down to her and Gizelle finally having this sit down. So let's get into it.
Loved seeing your sit down with Gizelle.
Oh my! I wish they would have showed so much more.
What did we miss?
Y'all missed everything.
Really?
She was accountable. We apologized to each other. We got into it from literally I have 4 homes all the way up to the binder. Like we really went there and we laughed, and it was just like it was very unexpected, but it was refreshing. It was really good.
Well, because I was going to ask you, because I saw you take accountability a lot in that lunch.
And she did too.
Well,
and I want to pause it right there, because I did see people online saying, certain things like, Gizelle didn't own anything, Gizelle this or that. And all I thought about was the last time Wendy and Gizelle had their sit down. And, people felt like it wasn't long enough. They felt like Gizelle didn't say enough. And Wendy was like, girl, we was there for like 2 hours or so. Like, don't get it twisted, honey. We sat there for a long time. And I was thinking the same thing with Gizelle and Monique. I said they probably was there for a while. They probably was there for a very long periodically time. And y'all know they probably just cropped some stuff out, okay? Maybe because a lot of the fans have been expecting and calling for Monique to be accountable about certain things. That's probably why they showed more of Monique being accountable than they showed of Gizelle actually being accountable. You know what I'm saying? But according to Monique, it all happened. So let us keep listening.
Happy to hear that, because we didn't show her taking that much accountability, and I was curious.
I wish they would have showed everything that she said, because she said a lot as well. And we were able to kind of like put some pieces to the puzzle that were missing that I forgot about. And there was a lot of misunderstanding.
Were you surprised that she took that much accountability?
I was surprised, but I was also like hoping that she would, just because it's been so many years.
Right.
So it was a really it was a nice grown-up moment for us. And then we ended on a note where we said we will always throw shade, but to each other's face.
Okay, good. I like it.
Not in the confessionals.
Okay.
Well, good for them. I think they're going to throw shade in the confessionals and not all the time in each other's face, okay? I think that's just the way of the world at times with Real Housewives, because sometimes they may be watching clips when they're doing their confessionals, or they may recall events, and you're going to think of stuff that you didn't think about saying in that person's face. So it is what it is. The main thing is that these ladies have since, moved forward in the relationship. And I mean, hey, I'm not mad at it. I feel like at some point you do got to move on. You can't still be, who wants to still be in that same place from so many years ago? But what I do believe is that Gizelle is one to not be trusted. For real. Like, I've been liking, there are parts of Gizelle that I have been enjoying, and then not so great parts. Like what she said about Stacey, somebody you shouldn't have around around husbands and children. And it's like, girl, now you always take it too far. And this just, it makes people just snatch back any like that they have for you. Right. However, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Just keep your eyes open. Ashley Darby to me is one that can't be trusted either. And they may be amazing women outside of this show. Get that. But when it's time to do a job, it's like one person for sure, which is Ashley Darby, in my opinion. Ashley gonna put that friendship aside to get that check. Okay? And to bring about somewhat of a good show. Okay? She gonna pull out her heavenly card and do what she gotta do. It is what it is. I may not like it, can't stand it, but she gonna put that friendship stuff aside. So I don't know, girl. I just feel like just be mindful. Just watch her, because it's the same lady once upon a time that said that you was drinking, which led to an accident. And I don't know if you had your miscarriage or something around that time, but it was just some funny stuff Ashley did with that whole situation that you turned around and protected her with the whole videotape. And then now y'all cool. Anyway, do what you want to do, because that's just how y'all is, okay? Now, the next thing I want us to get into is a fan asking a question about her and Candiace reconciling with each other, okay? Let's go ahead and check this out and see what Miss Monique had to say.
Clearly, like, we've seen that you've done so much work on yourself. How do you feel about your relationship with Candiace, and do you see there ever being a reconciliation?
There was no relationship, and sometimes moving on doesn't mean that you have to reconcile. Sometimes you just see people for who they are, and you know your place and you set your boundaries, and it's okay not to rekindle something that isn't meant to be rekindled.
All right, here is.
It's okay to not rekindle something that's not meant to be rekindled. And I just kind of feel like, is it not meant to be, or is it, in my opinion, it's okay to not rekindle something that you don't want to rekindle no more. Like, that's just what it is, not meant to be rekindled, but more so something that you ain't trying to rekindle, in my personal. All right. But that is what Monique said. And honestly, it's not different than what she sat down and said with Wendy. When she sat with Dr. Wendy, she said the same thing, that, you know, moving forward does not require reconciliation, in all honesty. However, let me say this. I believe the only reason she sat with Gizelle is because she's on the show with Gizelle. Outside of that, her and Gizelle probably have no run-ins. She probably didn't care to have any type of reconciliation with her. But for the nature of this show, and hopefully going from friend of to full housewife again, be cool with the lady, right? Moving forward, that's her plan, whatever it is, okay? Now, I feel like when it comes to her and Candiace, if Candiace was on the show, I do believe they would have had that sit down. Now, how that sit down would have ended up, I'm not sure, but I believe that Monique may have gone into that sit down with hopes of reconciling. That is my assumption. IDK, I think Candiace would have went into that sit down being open, but also ready to hold her accountable for anything she may not try to hold herself accountable for, is what I would think, right? Monique says there is no friendship. Once upon a time there was, but I think she's speaking on the past few years. Like the past few years, there is no friendship, right? Okay, so, you know, there's no point in reconciling. You don't have to reconcile to like move forward with your life or whatever. But Candiace has seen Monique give out different apologies to different people, and she just felt like Monique hasn't given her one. And Monique is like, well, I gave you one at the reunion. However, I think everything was still raw at the time, and I don't think Candiace was like open to that apology, because to her it did not feel genuine. But if they were, in my opinion, on the same show, I think they will have a sit down, and I could see a potential apology coming from Monique that would be genuine. And the question would be whether Candiace ready to accept it in that moment, and possibly not. Who knows? Okay, but that is the reason why. All right, if Candiace came back to the show while Monique is on the show, I do believe that sit down would happen. I do believe that sit down would happen, but I don't know why. But I feel like Candiace and Monique kind of remind me of Kandi and Phaedra a little bit. Not that either one of them can keep each other from the show for real, which is something that Candiace also said, like Monique can't keep her from the show. Only the producers or whatever could do that. But it just makes me think, will we ever see a time where they're both on the show together for them to get their reconciliation? Honestly, that could happen on at BravoCon or something. If they both happen to be on the same stage to talk about past situations, you know, they could possibly make up at that point. Will they be close after that? I don't think so. I don't think so. And sometimes you got to be okay, unfortunately, with the apology that you're never going to get, okay? Or be okay with the fact that you're never going to receive an apology from this person. And I mean, neither one of you guys, in my opinion, heavily impacts the other's life. So I really don't think you should, you know, like at some point it is what it is, you know. Does it suck? I'm sure to not, you know, to not move forward. You seeing a person move forward with other people, but not with you. Like, I'm sure that may suck, But I also feel like it's because of this show. If Monique did not have this show, she would continue to not talk to Gizelle, just as she hasn't before. Okay? But y'all leave y'all thoughts down below. I know y'all gonna do that anyway, child, because that's just how y'all is. And I know some of y'all are so ready to go back to the altercation that took place in season 5, child. Y'all be so ready to say what y'all say. And you could say whatever you say, and it still don't change the fact that y'all girl wasn't right. Okay? Period. All right? Even she said she was wrong. But y'all still, anyway, child, let me keep going because y'all gonna fight. I'm gonna let y'all duke it out. Next thing I want us to get into, this is where, Monique kind of talks about Gizelle and her thoughts on her marriage. So let's check this out.
Monique, what was your reaction to Gizelle saying that she saw your divorce coming?
Well, now having gone through it, I see exactly where she's coming from, and I see where she was coming from so many years ago. Because when you're in a marriage, I feel like one thing that she got wrong is that she said I wasn't being authentic. I was. But at the end of the day, when you're in a marriage, you typically try to keep what's happening in the home. Trying to do that and juggle doing that on reality TV was very difficult for me.
Of course.
Yeah. So when she saw right through certain things, it's because she's been through it before.
Right.
1000%. She's been through it before. Therefore, she knew that you were coming off as not authentic, right? So I don't feel like Gizelle was wrong at all with how she saw Monique. But at the same time, I do understand where Monique was coming from based on your marriage, how things were set up, you wanting to conceal certain things or whatever. And whatever conversations you and your husband had and the loyalty you having over there. Like, I see what she's saying, but also Gizelle wasn't wrong in my personal. But that's what's going on. All right, you guys leave your thoughts down below, okay? As Monique came back to Potomac, had her first sit down with Watch What Happens Live since. And yeah, leave your thoughts down below. Of course, I am JamiThatsMe. Don't forget to like up the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can catch me on social media at JamiThatsMe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a proxy.